I'll be honest, I gave Black Ops 4 a pretty hard time back in the day. Sorry, Jason. I do enjoy the game. I think it has redeeming qualities, but I was certainly more vocal about my criticisms of it more than anything else. And now, with Cold War out, and having gone back and played Black Ops 4 a bit more, I want to make a video talking about the things about the game I actually did enjoy. To start, the overall atmosphere of Black Ops 4 was amazing. When you go to the Zombies menu and when you load up a match, it feels just so different from the rest of the game. It feels cold and lonely and scary, and I think the overall tone of the game is really good. I know some people have said the maps look worse in 4 than they did in Black Ops 3, but I personally don't see that. I think the maps look beautiful in this game. The lighting and the color palettes, it's great and I love it. And the music, I think in this game was also really good. There was something about Alistair's theme that just filled me with dread. It's hard to put into words, but I think it just perfectly captured the atmosphere that the game was trying to make. And it does make me a little sad that they did cut it for Damned 4. Obviously you can't have Treyarch Zombies without Damned in it, but it would have been cool if they somehow found a way to still have Alistair's theme in there. You know, all the other ambient music I find to be really good, and some of it's pretty memorable. But I think where the music really shines is with Kevin Sherwood's songs. That guy was just absolutely killing it, and some of the songs from this game, like Drowning, I Am the Well, and Stormbound, are some of my all-time favorites. Obviously on their own they sound like cool songs, but I really love how the meanings and the lyrics and how it all impacts the story, it's all just so well put together. I really like that this game included difficulties. A true difficulty option, I should say. Black Ops 2 had an easy mode, but this is a much more dedicated difficulty system. And, you know, it's fair to say that Black Ops 4 can be a little easy at times, but being able to bump it up to the next difficulty can help mitigate that issue. Or, if you're a new player and it's too hard for you, putting it on casual is also very helpful. And if the preset difficulties weren't quite what you were looking for, you could go to custom mutations and make your own difficulty, or you could make your own separate game out of it. I think mutations was a really cool feature. They didn't have to add it, but they did. They did it for us, and I'm sad it hasn't come back in Cold War. I'm still holding out hope that it will, but we will see. I think the story of this Zombies mode was great. I can't talk as much about the Chaos story, I haven't gone as into it as I have with the Aether, but it was certainly cool to see Treyarch take a new approach to zombies. It's a shame that it ended on such a big cliffhanger. I would love to see the Chaos story come back, but unfortunately, nothing other than the main, Aether Zombies mode has ever had a sequel, so it's sad to see that even Treyarch can be a victim to their own success. But the Aether story, I think, was just great. I love how it tied up a lot of loose ends that were set up all the way back in Black Ops 2 with Broken Arrow and Alcatraz and stuff like that. I can't think of anything from that story that hasn't been explained by the end of it, so it's really cool to see everything come full circle. And the ending from Tag der Toten I really liked. I feel like nowadays, with all these big budget movies and video games and big stories, a lot of them can have kind of safe and predictable endings with a big fight and then the good guy wins and the bad guy loses and everyone lives happily ever after. I feel like that's what a lot of people wanted to see in this game with the Great War, but I'm kind of glad they didn't do that and did something a bit more unique and a bit more bittersweet with this grand sacrifice and Nikolai's endgame and all that. I also like how the Aether's ending implies that just about nothing that happened in the story ever actually needed to happen. And the only reason it did happen is because of Richtofen's own selfish desire to be a hero, and how he perpetuated this cycle, even though he, as far as I can see, could have ended it at any given moment. He simply would have chosen not to. And so it took this big, long paradox that would have eventually broken and forced a different ending that allowed Nikolai to make the necessary sacrifice that he wasn't otherwise able to make. So, I don't know. I know some people didn't like it as much. I think it was great. I think it was very appropriate. And I liked that it didn't feel like it was pandering or that it was being restricted by corporate interference or anything like that. It felt like something that the writers wanted to write. And additionally, the characters, I think they're all really good. There are some really good voice lines in this game. I'll play a couple for you.
Everything does something. That is bullshit statement. I know for a fact my Uncle Bogdan did nothing.
Oh, this one just smells like battle, gunpowder, dirt, blood, screams. Yes, I said it smells like screams.
A machine that thinks it's actually a living person. distant relative, Dempsey?
You know, they're just entertaining. It's funny stuff. I like the way that you upgrade your special weapon by using it throughout the game. In-game progression like that is a lot better than what Cold War came up with upgrading your tiers outside of the game. It's just another thing to work towards. I kind of wish they continued to use that kind of philosophy towards upgrading things in your game. Additionally, with the specialist weapon, I like how not using it will prevent the full power up from spawning. So if you wanted to manipulate your drop cycle or something, you could choose not to use the big specialist weapon to have greater control over the drops you get, and I think that's a cool little detail that allows you to strategize in different ways. And kind of similar, but also kind of not, the modifiers were also a cool way to have different effects for perks. And I understand that the perk system was unpopular with most people, but I didn't mind it as much. Sure, I had some criticisms of it, which I have mentioned in the past, but overall I don't think it was terrible. I think it was just fine. But I think the really good thing about it was just how many perks there actually were in the game. I think there were about 20 perks, which is not something you might see in any of the other games. You know, you can't have 20 perks in a map, and if you want to put the rest in the Wunderfizz machine, I mean, sure, the extreme randomness of it might be cool, but if there was a specific perk you wanted, and it was only in the Wunderfizz, it's going to be almost impossible to get without spending a lot of points, or just having extreme luck. And it's not like these 20 or so perks were just kind of half-assed ideas. I think a lot of them were actually really cool. Death Perception, Ethereal Razor, my favorite was Blood Wolf Bite. Some of them were really efficient, and some of them were just simply fun to use, and I really liked that about this game. But that's everything I have written down here. I'm sure there's still things about this game that I like that I just can't remember at the moment, but those I think are some of the big ones, some of the big positives that this game had going for it. And you know, this game was kind of the least popular of all the Treyarch Zombies games, and I can't understand why. Some of my most popular videos on this channel are me talking about my complaints with Black Ops 4, but I still think it's worth looking at the positive things in this game because I do think it's still a fun and enjoyable game.